Hey guys, B-Man here. Welcome to today's video. Today, we've got an awesome one for you guys. What we have today is free shop blueprints, camo swapping glitches, duping between accounts, and all sorts, guys. So you guys know the deal. We ain't mucking around. We're getting straight into this, guys. Smash that like button for me. Subscribe if you're not already. Leave me an awesome comment. We'll have a quick word about today's sponsor. Then we'll just get straight into this, guys. Want to unlock all the new mastery camos like Singularity? Check out MitchCactus, the biggest and most reliable in Call of Duty. They offer instant delivery DLC codes like Monster Energy and lobbies delivered in under an hour. Everything is 100% safe and legit for Xbox, PlayStation, and PC. Trusted by the community, seen all over YouTube, MitchCactus has over 20,000 reviews, making them the go-to for all things Call of Duty and other games like Battlefield 6. Some deals may be limited time only, so get in quick and use code BMAN for 5% off. Okay, for today's method that I'm going to be teaching you guys today, you're going to need a camo that wipes on your profile. For this, you can either use exotic camos. I have previously made videos on how to obtain exotic camos, so a lot of my viewers will already have exotic camos. You can just use the exotic camos as a camo that wipes if you have those already. I will intend to be making a future video about how to pull exotic camos off exotic guns in the future as well for the people that don't already know how to do that, and I have previous tutorials on that. So you can either obtain exotic camos or from endgame, or what you can do is, if you don't want to do that and you have a console and you have an alt account, you're able to simply just go along and dupe in a camo over from your alt that your main profile does not yet have unlocked. It does not need to be a high-end camo, a mastery, or anything. You could simply just go along, and if your profile has not unlocked this camo right here, you could go across on an alt, unlock this very simple camo, make it a zombie camo for a mode or a mode that you don't play on a gun that you don't use, unlock that very first camo and dupe that over. Then you will then have a camo that your profile does not have unlocked on your profile that you will be able to use to be able to pull all the blueprints and stuff like that that you're going to be seeing in this video. So for this video, I already have a gun sitting here, just a base gun, not a blueprint or anything, with a camo on it that would wipe. If I put this gun into my class and I back out, it wipes out of my class. Now that is what will happen with all of the duped camos if it's a camo that your profile does not own. But we want that function for this video. So let's go along and show you guys quickly how to dupe camos between accounts, so you can go along and you can get a camo that wipes from an alt like I just explained there, or go along and get an exotic. After I show the dupe on how to dupe the camos, we'll get into how to pull blueprints. Also, instead of duping, if you're on PC and you can't dupe camos over, if you want another option to be able to get a camo that wipes, this is another option you have. You also can come over into Warzone and you can actually camo swap over the Modern Warfare event camos and things onto your Black Ops 7 guns, and some of those camos will just cause wiping over in Black Ops 7, in which case you then can obtain a camo that would wipe onto your gun that way. So I'll show you quickly how to do that. To do that, come over into your first class, your primary class of online. Go along and equip the gun that you want to put the Modern Warfare camo onto it. Make sure it's a Black Ops 7 gun for this. Then after that, we back out and we go into private match of Warzone. Once we've made it to private match of Warzone, we want to go to the same class. We use custom class 1 online. We go to custom class 1 in private match. We use primary slot of that class. We go to the primary slot. Then we go across and we equipped a legacy weapon, a Modern Warfare weapon that has access to a camo, event camo that we have unlocked. So we're going to go along and equip this. Then we go over to the camo section. We go across to the universal tab and to this section here and to the unlocked tab. You see there, it's the unlocked tab. You come to this tab here. From this tab here, go along, bring up this menu, and we want to say to go home. Say yes, and then now this gun will turn into the gun that's set in our class online when we go through the camos. Go across and we want to equip an event camo. So a Modern Warfare event camo, these camos will cause the guns to wipe when you're over in Black Ops 7. So we can equip this camo into this gun and back out. Now, this gun has that camo sitting on it, and we have that gun saved. Do that onto a base gun, not a blueprint, and have that with no attachments on it. This is what you need to be able to go along and pull blueprints when you're over in Black Ops 7. Unfortunately, if you're trying to pull blueprints for the Warzone side, these the camo swapped one, so this gun here, will not cause wiping over in Warzone, so you will not be able to use this method of getting a camo that wipes when you're over in Warzone. If you're only trying to do it for Black Ops 7, this method of camos that wipe will actually work for Black Ops 7, but as you see here, if you're in Warzone, this method will not wipe in Warzone because you can use these camos over here. So you will need to either dupe a camo that wipes to be able to do it over here, or use exotic camos, or in Warzone you can use Dragon's Breath ammo. Just as long as anything that causes your class to wipe, you can use that. So with that said, let's get back over into multiplayer, and we'll show you guys this camo wipe. Back over in multiplayer, and as you see, we've got this gun over here. When we equip this gun over in multiplayer and back out, as you see, it wipes. Those Modern Warfare event camos will cause wiping. Now keep in mind, some camos from Modern Warfare won't actually wipe over here, and you can just use them. I think some of the mastery camos and that, so like Dark Matter and that, won't cause wiping, so it's only like the event camos and stuff like that. So just play around with the camos you have access to, and you should be able to find one that wipes. So that's how you get the camo that wipes, this easy way that way. Now let's quickly go along and show you guys how to dupe so you can get another way of getting a camo that wipes. Okay, log into the game. First off, before you do everything, you want to set up the account that you're duplicating from. You go in, you log into the game with the account you're duplicating the item from, and you put that item into their loadout in zombies and in multiplayer, meaning you set up and put the gun into the class with the camo on it that you're trying to duplicate over. After you've done that, close the app off, and then what we're doing is we're loading the game up as Profile 1, Controller 1, being the profile that we're wanting to duplicate to. Once we've done that, we load into the game with the profile we're duplicating to. We come into multiplayer. Then, once we're in multiplayer, we get controller 2. Then we bring in player 2 on controller 2. Player 2 already has the items in their class waiting for us, already set up in their class that we're wanting to dupe over to player 1. So we bring in player 2, then we wait for, up here you'll see there's no numbers there yet, no ranking along the top next to the lines button. We're waiting, and now my rank and everything's just popped up. Wait until that pops up before you back out of here. So now at this point we back out of here with controller 1, player 1. Then with controller 2, player 2, we go to the zombie screen, we come along and quickly come across to the weapons tab and into their loadout with controller 2, player 2's controller. Then we back out of here, and then with player 1, controller 1, we go into the loadouts, it's duped over, and that's just that simple, guys. We've now just duped it over, and now it's duped over and it's working, guys. Now we can even back out of here with player 1, controller 1. We can come out of here, you can save the guns and zombies, and you can do one gun at a time, or we can come back to here, we can come over with controller 2, player 2, we come into multiplayer, we go across to their loadouts, we go into their loadouts, and you will see they got these loadouts here, and now player 2, controller 2, actually has player 1's loadouts here. So you can actually dupe over between the profiles like this, guys. So as you see here, now this is player 1's class, and if we back out of here and come back into here with player 2, it's player 2 also sees their stuff. It sees their blueprint, so if you come into here and you will see this doesn't have the blueprint, so this can be used for blueprint duping and stuff like that, but that's not what this video is showing, and you'll get padlocks, so don't worry about that. What you're trying to do is you're trying to dupe over base guns with camos. So as you see here, we've just duped over this gun here, and we could save this gun right here. So we've got this weapon here, and it's got this camo on it. As you see, this profile does not have that camo. Now we could simply go along and we could just make a change to of this gun, put a charm on this gun, and now this profile gets this gun with this camo. So now, as you see, we backed out, and now it's actually taken it out once we wiped it, but it's alright. We now have that gun sitting in this class with the camo. It's a base gun and everything, and it's fine. So now we could go along and we could use this camo right here to pull blueprints with on our account. And it's that easy to be able to go along and duplicate between accounts. You can pull camos off accounts and all sorts, guys. Simple as, easy as. It can be random on what account one it will pull the loadout over. So sometimes you might log in with player 1, and when you come in, it'll put player 1's loadout over player 2, and you can dupe to player 2. And then sometimes it'll do it completely backwards, and it will put player 2 loadout over player 1's, and then you can do player 2 to player 1. That can be kind of random, guys, but with that said, you guys get it. Just keep at it, and you'll be able to get the camos from one account over to the other one, just with that simple solution there, guys. You bring it in, you go over to the zombies, and then you come back over to multiplayer with those steps that we showed, and you will have the camos over. Simple as, easy as. Okay, now for pulling blueprints. Now, how this works is there is an attachment sort of thing with this. So when you pull a blueprint, the blueprint that you pull, if you want it to have a pulled look to it, so you pull a blueprint that you don't own and it keep the look of that pulled blueprint, you need to make sure that you put one less attachment onto that build than the build that you used to pull it had on it. So in this case here, I'm going to pull a blueprint using a gun that has 8 attachments. I am limited to up to 7 attachments on the gun that I pull with this. So this gun here. Now, with this in mind, guys, you can go along before you pull a blueprint and you can set up the gun that you want to have set up. So like here, I've gone along and I've set up my perfect gun that I would rather have set up for this gun, right? And it's not a blueprint. I'm just going to turn this into a blueprint. So with in mind, the gun, the blueprint I'm going to turn this into a blueprint with, I am going to put 8 attachments onto it. So I'm going to use the dry vac and I'm going to have this gun here. This gun here has 8 attachments on it. So that makes it so that I can put up to 7 attachments on the builds that I'm pulling blueprints for. So I have a gun, a build here, pre-built, that's not a blueprint, it's just the base gun, and it's pre-built with the build I want. So it's got 7 attachments, not 8. If it had 8, I would not be able to turn it into a blueprint. It needs 1 less. So it has 7. It has the perfect build that I wanted to be able to make this video with. You can customize the build however you want. You can even go along and have the camo on the build and everything, so you can pull a blueprint with the camo on it and the full perfect setup that you desire. This is how you'll go along, and first go along and set up the gun with like so. Make sure that it does not have the same amount of attachments as your gun you're starting with, because then it will not work. You can even do this with other guns as well, but I'm going to show you guys to here that you can have builds up to 7 attachments on your result build and it still be fine. So we're going to go in game and we're going to turn this gun here, this build, into this blueprint right here, supercharged. Now, I know that this gun here with these special attachments with the setup that I've got here pulls that blueprint I just showed on the D20. So what we do is we start off our class and start the game with this weapon and build in our class. So for this video, we're going to do that. I'm going in here, we have the dry vac, and this is the attachment setup I'm running. Now, I have customized this a little bit, so if you were to try and copy this, you might not get the same results as me, because when you go along and you customize them and adding skins onto extra attachments and things like that, all of these extra changes that you make to the gun can actually have an effect on the result that you pull. So maybe you were pulling one gun and it didn't pull any blueprint, then you go along and you just make a change to it, maybe you add a couple attachments and then it will pull a blueprint. Or maybe you had a gun that pulled a certain blueprint when it had 5 attachments, now you add 8 attachments onto that gun and now you can no longer use that gun to pull the blueprint that you were pulling with 5 attachments, okay? So there is a lot of hit and miss with that. Now, how this all works is pretty much every gun, think of it this way, has about 20 different versions. When you're blueprint pulling, you are pulling the version of the gun you started with equivalent for the other gun. Now, if that other gun only had 6 versions and you're trying to pull version 9 of that gun, you will probably get a non-blueprint and it will just look like a base gun. So often, if you do not hit an actual blueprint, you will often just look like you hit a base gun. Just pull a different gun or change the build you're building with to be able to do it, because this does work. If it appears not to work, you've just either hit a non-blueprint, or the gun that you're doing it to, you've gone along and you've got more attachments on the gun you're trying to pull onto than the gun you pulled from. So with that all out the way, guys, I know that was a lot, but this glitch does have a lot of details I needed to cover first. Pretty much, you want to start with a gun that has 8 attachments, and then you want to have 7 attachments, up to 7 attachments on the gun that you're going to try and pull a blueprint on. Pre-build the builds first. Don't build them onto blueprints. You can build them on blueprints if you want, and it will change the blueprint of this gun here. So I could go and alter this into a different blueprint, but just to keep this simple for you guys, just go along and pre-build your builds on base guns like that. Simple as, easy as. You can also start, if you start with a gun that only has 5 attachments, your resulting gun that you pull will only be able to have up to 4 attachments. If you go over that limit, if you go to the same amount of attachments as the gun that you started with, it will actually wipe off the look of your gun, and your gun will go back to like a base gun and have no look or anything. With that said, let's load in game and show you guys us pulling a blueprint. We're going to turn this blueprint, and we're going to go along and turn this gun here into this gun right here with all of our setup. And the cool thing about this, guys, is that this does not wipe between games or anything like that. You set it up, you pull the blueprint once, and then it stays in your class and you're able to just use it as normal from that point on. Okay, so we're loading in, and we're loading in with this gun here as in our class to start with. Now, for this video, the gun I'm using, I'm just going to be using this weapon here. It has an exotic camo on it. Any weapon that you have that has a camo on it that wipes, however you've got it, whether it's an exotic or a camo that wipes, or it's a Modern Warfare event camo, whatever it is, you need to have that camo that would cause the wiping on a base weapon that's not a blueprint without any attachments on it to be able to swap to, okay? Because you need to swap to this as a step. So that's what you will need. We need this gun here. Then we're going to need to swap over to this gun. Then after we've swapped to this gun, we need to die. And then after that, we can go along and we can swap to this gun here, and we can get it as a blueprint, guys. So let's load in and show you us do that. Okay, so we've loaded it in, right? So first off, we select this class with this gun. Then we go along and we want to select the other gun that has the camo on it that wipes. It's not a blueprint, and it doesn't have any things. Now, at this point, if you select these things, you can use these camos that would wipe and stuff like that. So if you're using dupe camos and stuff like that, but after you've got that gun, you want to go along and you want to just die. Then it's going to no longer have that camo out, right? You can only use those guns once, one life. So if you wanted, you could re-select that gun if you were trying to use that camo, and you can reuse that again, life over life, and you can actually use those camos. With that said, let's get along and show you how to pull the blueprints. So after we've gone along and we've died, after we've got that gun that wipes, you see it actually pulls out the other gun and back into our hands. Then what we want to do is we want to go along and we want to select any other weapon. Now, we've already got a build already done up, but we can either select that build or we can select this build. For this thing here, I'm going to show you this one. So now we select this, but now it is actually the blueprint version of this gun. And now we've just pulled this gun with all the 7 attachments on it and everything, but it's a blueprint. It's got the traces and everything, guys, but we just selected a base gun. Now, the cool thing is this gun will last and stay working perfectly like this without any trickery or anything from this point on. We can die, we can go into another game, we can leave game, load into the next game, just select our class, and it's this gun with this blueprint and everything until we close the app, guys. It's just that simple. Okay, so now we've done that other gun. Now let's show you guys this gun. So we've got this gun here, right? This time it's only got 4 attachments on it, 5 attachments on it. If this time we're to go to this gun over here and select this, we get this gun, right? Then after that, we want to die so that we're not holding the actual gun with the camo that wipes and it resets back to the other gun in our hands. Then after that, we come in and we can come down and we can select this gun. Now, we get the blueprint, right? We get a blueprint. Notice it's a different blueprint because this one only had 4, and as I said, if you start adding attachments onto the gun that you're pulling with as the donor gun, then you will actually change the results of what pulls. So it can be just like that. That's simply going from a 4 to 5 attachment gun, and then you go along and you add a few more attachments onto it. You might get a non-blueprint, and then you think, oh, it doesn't work, it broke it. That might just be a matter of a change the blueprint you're pulling, and instead of pulling blueprint number 6, you're now pulling blueprint level number 11, and there wasn't one, so you got a no blueprint. Okay, so keep that sort of stuff in mind. You might pull a blueprint with a gun that has no attachments on it, then you'll go along and you'll pull a blueprint with a gun with that same gun that has 5 attachments on it, and it will pull a different blueprint. But keep in mind, don't go looking at what pulls what on guns that don't have the maximum amount of blueprints on them, because then you're limited. I pulled this gun here with only a gun that only had 5 attachments. I can't go up to 5 attachments. So this gun can't have 7 attachments. Unlike the other one, I could have 7 attachments on. If I'm to go over 5 attachments, we'll show you what happens. So we'll come along and we'll alter this gun. We'll alter this. We'll alter this. That's 1, 2, 3. That's 4, right? We've got 4, and that is fine. If we respawn now, we still have the cool blueprint look because we did not go over or up to the amount that we started with. We started with a blueprint that had 5. Now, if we are to go along and equip one more attachment, the 5th attachment on this gun, we lose the entire blueprint look of this gun. So we come across to this. Oh, wait, one more. There we go there. Happened to be the 6th. And it loses the blueprint look of the gun, guys. So keep that in mind. Now, if we want 7 attachments, we need to start with a gun that has 8 attachments on it, right? And so on, guys. Now, that's just that simple. Now, the same thing between Warzone and multiplayer, guys. So exactly how I've done it over here in multiplayer, it works exactly the same over in Warzone. Unfortunately, there's no gunfighter over in Warzone, so you're unable to have 7 and 8 attachment builds. So when you pull a blueprint, you're going to be starting with only 5 attachments on your guns, and you will only be able to pull up to 4 attachments, or put 4 attachments on the gun that you've pulled, and so on, guys. The game's just frozen. So we load in, we select a class, then we come across, it's got the gun in it that we're using to pull others from, right? We go along and we're just like over in multiplayer, we select the gun with the camo that wipes, we back out of our class, we come back into our class, make sure you back out, and then we go along and we want to pull our gun. So we select the base gun with no attachments on it, then we can go along and we can put up to 4 attachments onto this, so we'll go along and put these on it. And now we've got that gun with that blueprint pulled, guys. Simple as, easy as, and this will work game after game after game. You just select the class normally from the loadout with no problems at all. Now, keep in mind, if we were to go along and add more attachments to this, it would no longer work and we wouldn't have the cool look. It would wipe it out. So again, 1 less than what you had on the gun that you started with. Simple as, easy as. You guys know the deal. Smash that like button for me. Subscribe if you're not already. Leave me that awesome comment and keep being awesome. Thank you guys for watching my videos, and I'll catch you in the next one. B-Man